It's a big day down here. The mad scientist, the one, the only, Jay Banks.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for making the time, my man.
Dude,
Dude, I almost did the same thing.
started the podcast off with a foul.
Spills are in the cosmos, dude. It's asking for it right now.
It's early, bro. We're early. We're up here drinking coffee, and it's been a long time coming, dude. So I appreciate you for scooping me up on the way here. I was thinking about it too, man. We had like a nice little like 30-minute drive here. It's like, bro, like this car just needs cameras, right?
It does. I want to pull it off like Steve-O, but at the same time, he got that money, and I can't afford no Sprinter van like that. It'd be nice to be able to do. I've done these podcasts like in enough remote situations and just fucked it up where I'm just like, no, that's not going to be the MO. We're going to do this right here in my mom and dad's basement, dog, you know?
Dude, it's the shit, man. Like, big shout out to your parents for letting you demolish such a beautiful house's basement like this.
They're very real like that, man. I think it's best to describe you as an artist, straightforward. And you were telling this story about your parents on the way up here.
Yeah.
That I'd love for you to repeat.
All right. Yeah, so my parents, I grew up in Chicago. My dad was a printer for, I like this, by the way.
It's always been on the table.
Let's
it's in
go.
every single show.
We can make these. That's sublimation, so we can make those for you with some Matt Waters logos. Easy.
That's what I love about you, Jay. You can never stop cooking. There's always like we could do that. We could do that right now. That's what I'm saying. There's no one better at the alchemy than you, man. So,
let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So my dad was a printer for this place called Continental Web. He started out as a jogger, which is basically just like collecting the paper when after it was done printing. But he worked his way all the way up to like the general manager. So when Continental Web opened in Kentucky, they moved him out here to run the whole company or run that warehouse. So, but they printed Sports Illustrated magazines, Sports Illustrated for kids, the swimsuit magazine, bro. Like I was 10 years old, 11 years old. Like I would have the Sports Illustrated swimsuit magazine like 3 months before it came out on the shelves, and I'd bring them to school, and I was showing all my friends, and then the teacher like took the magazine, like, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble, dude. Like my dad didn't even know I brought it here.
Stop. It was a singular copy?
Yeah, I mean he brings samples home all the time. So I've got like anything with Michael Jordan on it, you know, he would bring home, and we've got like tucked away. But then my mom, she did like Adobe Illustrator, but before like Adobe Illustrator was a program. So like if she wanted to create a flyer, like if we wanted to create like a Matt Waters flyer, you can't just put Matt Waters real big on text and then, you know, the dates and times and then have a photo of you. So she would have to like basically cut out a picture of a coffee cup, and then take the tacky glue and then put it on an 8.5 by 11 paper, glue it there, type out the paragraph, cut that out, glue that there, you know, a different sizing, and then scan it back into the computer and then create the flyer. So like I saw like all that shit happening when I was a kid. And you know, my dad also had a side job where he was printing in the garage. So he had his own like side hustle that he was doing. So it's weird because, you know, I started the clothing brand and I didn't realize that I was taking like the best of my mom and the best of my dad and putting them together to create this thing, because that's exactly what I do. Like I'm the best at arts and crafts, I say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
well, and what I love about that too is like there's this element where we all have so many tools, whether it's your AI, whether it's your computer, whether it's your printer. It's like you use the tools to envision something creative. Mm-hmm. That's not Jay Banks. Jay Banks sees something creative and says, what tools do I need to make this happen? And it's like so much of the unconventionalness of what your work has never been defined by like, what will the technology allow me to do? It's like, how many steps can I get this done in? You know, if mom's gonna be sitting there cutting out custom text, relayering it, no, not that one, 2 fonts bigger, okay, cut that out.
That's it, yeah.
Did they ever work on a project together?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We had, it was kind of funny, man. Like we had our own little side hustle. Like I had my own business card at 8 years old.
Stop.
Yeah. I just found it like a year ago. So me and my sister, we had our own company called J&J's Flyers. And it was, so my dad, printed the flyers, right? My mom went to all the businesses around Chicago and said, "Hey, for $20, we'll flyer this neighborhood." Or no, I'm sorry, not $20. It was whatever they charged. They paid me $20 to flyer the neighborhood. So she would go to like, shot 15 to 20 different places. All the places said, yeah, like, well, so she created the discount cards or whatever they wanted. And then we put them in little door hangers. And then me and my sister just walked down down the neighborhoods, just flagging all the doors.
Just staple gun killers? Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
okay,
Yeah,
right.
I took the left side, she took the right, and then we were just door to door, just hanging these things. And we got, like I said, I was like 8, 9 years old, and I was getting $20 per company. So every time we were doing this, I was making like $180 as like an 8 or 9 year old, right?
Dude, a kid gets hooked on that kind of entrepreneurial
Dude,
spirit.
you know what the first thing I bought was after the first day that I did that, I was thinking to myself, I need to listen to music while I do this. So the first thing I bought were these headphones that had an antenna on it, so I could listen to B96, which was the cool station in Chicago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a song that was a soundtrack to that era of flying, what would that song be?
Fucking, of course, bro. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, dude. Summertime. 100%,
That's
dude.
killer.
100%.
Jazzy Jeff did it all for us, baby. You
Dude,
know?
I've actually reached out to DJ Jazzy Jeff probably a dozen times because he created this commercial for Starter like back in like 1991. And it's just a quick 30-second commercial. And he's like, yo, my name's DJ Jazzy Jeff, and I'm going to show you how I wear my hat. He's like, first you got to grab the hat. Then you got to bend the hat. Then you got to flip the hat. Then you got to slam the hat. Then you got to twist the hat.
Yeah.
And he's like, make sure it's a starter hat. And so I was like, I've been reaching out, like, bro, let's recreate this commercial, but do it for native, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
it would kill. Well, it kind of gives me the vibe of like when you see the hand washing stations when you go into the bathroom, they're telling you how to wash your mitts. It's like, dude, a 6-part series. Like first you got to grab the hat, then you got to bend the hat. It's
yeah,
like,
bro.
DJ Jazzy Jeff shows you how to put that shit on.
I know, man. I know.
It's killer.
It was the 90s are just the epitome of cool, bro. Like,
I'm a 96 baby, so I missed the whole 9 on it.
Yeah,
It's like,
alright.
it is a vibe to look back on days where it's like limitations make the best art in anything. Like the hard thing about music in the digital age is that you can do anything.
For sure.
So putting people back in places where there are constraints to the how, and then you start to push the art to defy that. Like the best thing, I saw something in claymation the other day. I forget what the name of this artist was, but like it was like Chicken on the Run, something like that. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, the limitation is that you have to move every single fucking hand and every single fucking foot, but it feels so real. It's so visceral that way.
it's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Or you
Like,
watch South Park and it has that same jagged kind of feel. It's like rough around the edges has always been the sexiest way to do things.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever recreate Celebrity Deathmatch again. Just
No,
like those
dude.
the claymation is just so insane,
It was
dude.
perfect. It was
I want to see deleted scenes like somebody accidentally smashing the face of one of the characters and having to redo it. You know what I
squeeze
mean?
your head a little too hard and you just can't get it. It's
Yeah,
like,
bro.
dude, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
So, as a kid, you got J&J's flyering. Is there another side hustle before you land on your eventual design work?
Oh, for sure, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, I also built a skate ramp out in front of my house. Probably when I was about 10 years old, I was charging like all my friends and neighbors 25 cents to take the bike and jump off the ramp.
Dude.
And if you didn't get enough air, you'd get a second jump for free.
That is such a like church festival kind of ride. Like it's run by a literal kid. Okay, there's no permit.
In the middle of Chicago too, bro. It's not like this is like Indiana, like in the middle of like the farmland. This is like in the city, bro.
That's sick. Did it last a summer? Did it last 2 summers? When you break this ramp?
The ramp didn't last very long. I do remember that. It started to fall apart within the first 2 or 3 days.
Did you think I should make another ramp, or did you go, there's too much risk involved in this venture, let's move on?
I built a doghouse out of it. Yeah, I took it apart and built a doghouse.
That's some real shit.
It's a true story too, bro. Yeah.
It's the money back guarantee is definitely my favorite part about it.
Oh,
It's like,
dude,
there's
yeah.
an honorable in the side, like in the small man's hustle. It's like at some point you just gotta say, no, dude, you break it, you buy it. I can't make a doghouse out of a fucking ramp that you broke. It's like,
Right.
you took my money, you know. So as time has gone on, like it seems like you learned so much about running a business before Native ever came about.
Yeah.
What was the first inkling of Native?
So like I was, when it came to Native, it was it started with like a silhouette of Ohio, so it didn't have this arch logo, right? It was a silhouette of like the state of Ohio, and then it had Native like written inside it, but then it had Natty highlighted because it was, you know, Cincinnati. So when I had that, that's when I was telling you about the Procter and Gamble meeting that I had. Where like I thought I was on top of the world, dude. Like this logo is incredible. Like I just got picked up as like an upcoming entrepreneur from Procter and Gamble.
You're like
and
top 100 entrepreneurs of the year, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It was something with. They had a whole program called Preneur where they were like bringing up like local entrepreneurs, because that's how Procter and Gamble got started. They were a soap company, and they got a loan or something from I don't even know who, but so they want to try to get back to the city. So like I've done all that, and then I had the store at Rookwood. That's where we had the meeting at. So I felt like I was on top of my game, and the meeting, the guy was like, look, like the Native brand is a good business for Jay and his family, but it's not going to put food on other people's tables. And I took offense to it, but I sat back and thought about what he said, and that's when I created the Arch logo. So, you know, I was like, well, he's right. Like, how, you know, I can't sell millions of these just to people in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So we got to think outside the box. So, you know, I started with the Arch logo, which I loved, like how clean it was, and then it was kind of synonymous. Like people look at it like it, like are you a part of like a police department or a fire department? It's got that same kind of like feel. But then when you look at it and you're like, oh shit, it's 513, it's Cincinnati. Oh, okay, fuck, I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that first, since like the Ohio Native logo, was that just like freehanding before you had named the brand, or was this you trying to figure out how to trademark the brand? Like,
that's a good question, man. The logo. The name obviously had to come first, right?
Yeah.
Like thinking back on it, but I don't know. I do remember it was me and my buddy Steve Hill were the two that were kind of like bouncing the idea back around on the Native, the silhouette of Ohio. And basically like the closet of my house. Like I had this like third bedroom, but it was only like 8 by 10. It was something super tiny. So I remember him and I were in there, just bouncing the idea back and forth. And I don't know if he was the one that told me to highlight the Natty. There was something in there that like when he fucking said something, I was like, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Here we go.
you're a blowtorch on a good idea. You know, you're just one of those guys where it's like someone just needs to spark it for you to come in and make this thing quite a situation.
Yeah,
you know?
bro. And that's the funny thing. Like me and my wife will be in the car, you know, we'll just be silent, and all of a sudden I'll just, oh shit. She's like, what's wrong? And I'll like come out with an idea that I had. And she's like, what the like, where did that even come from? Like, we're just sitting here listening to music, and I'm just like, man, my brain, like, I've got to turn it off at nighttime.
Yeah. Well, there's something too to be said about the partner of someone that has this hyper creative mind. Like I see my wife in the way that she is tolerant of the many ideas I want to kick her. If that means I'm going to sit there for 45 minutes and just pluck at something,
Yeah.
then that's what we're going to do. And helping to nurture that thing while also being like, you got to turn off at some point. Like there is a yin and yang to that lifestyle that makes you a little crazy. And you're how many years into Native now?
I think 14 years. I think 2012 was when I first started like really starting to push it.
Yeah. Do you ever find that having a overarching brand is a limitation to the amount of creative things that you want to pull off?
Not really, because I good advice from one of my buddies in New York. He told me, don't pigeonhole yourself. He's got he had a store, a hair salon out there called 3 Square Studios. But he didn't want to. He didn't want to name it a hair salon. He didn't want to, he didn't want to pigeonhole himself in the middle of downtown New York. So he created the studio, which he ended up like leasing out to other actors. They had one of the biggest mirrors in the Northern Hemisphere, so they were able to do some sort of training and stuff in there. But he also got a Nike deal. He got a deal with the Stefan Janoski SBs, where they had this, they call it Volt, which is like just an all lime green shoe. And it had the 3 square logo in the heel. And he was like, bro, he's like, if I would have named it Jordan's Salon, he's like, do you think that name would be in the heel of the shoe? You know what I mean? So he's like, don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't. And that was another thing that was like, all right, let's be synonymous across the board. So now with this logo, with the area codes, if you've got a sports team in Covington, Louisiana, like we can match it, right? Like we just have to do the area code, and then even the high school, like we can go that in depth if we want to.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I heard I got my marketing degree with a entrepreneurial minor from Xavier. Mm-hmm. And I would say that like for anyone that's looking to go be an entrepreneur, getting a college degree doesn't seem like the most necessary thing in the world. Like just go get an education, because there's so many ways to get an education. But the one thing that really stuck with me from a class was you will not make a product and find the customer. You will find the customer and make the product.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't scare you away and make you feel like you don't get to be creative, because you're the type of guy that if I came to you, I'm a customer of J Banks, a very proud one, and all the shit that you've ever done for me has been phenomenal. But every time it's been, here's what I want to do, and here's your response, here's what we should do. And it's always that extra 10 to 15%. It just kicks it a little bit further.
Yeah.
For me, the folks on TikTok that watch me produce these songs, that really champion a song, well, I found the customer in my life. Now, before I make the product, before I go print the thing, let's talk about it. What do you love about the song? What needs to be in there? Sit in the studio with me and tell me why this works and why that doesn't work.
Yeah.
The amount of times someone's talked shit about a shaker that I've tried to put in the song, it's like, well, thank God you're here,
Right.
And you can kind of work through these things. What's it been like over the last 15 years to find out who the real customers of Native are?
Another good question, man. I've always kind of played this like game of catch me if you can, right? Like, cause I've bounced from, from pad to pad when it comes to like the store ownerships. I had a store downtown, right by Fountain Square. That was the 3CDC, Cincinnati Inc. So that they did a competition where they picked like the top 3-4 entrepreneurs of the city, and then they gave them a storefront. I was able to pitch the idea in front of like all these important people in downtown Cincinnati, and I started. That's when I started finding the fans that weren't just friends buying merch, right? And that's one thing that I tell all these kids all the time. If you want to start a clothing brand, like your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your friend, like they're gonna buy out of support, right? But if you can create a good product, then instead of them buying the shirt to do you a favor, they're going to end up wearing that shirt or that sweatshirt 3 days a week. And then it's going to end up reciprocating, because when they wear it to the grocery store, people are going to see it. So putting the time and attention into the product itself is going to get those customers coming back. But and as you're growing the brand, and this is something that happens with everybody, your friends, they stop buying, right? Especially when you've gotten to the point where you've got a store at Newport on the Levee, because, and it's not, when I'm saying this, like there's no disrespect to the original people that put you on, because that they did their job, right? And that's what I'm getting to the point is like, I hear it all the time from all these other clothing brands. Like, man, my family's not supporting anymore. My friends aren't. Like, how do I do this? And it's like, you gotta, like, they did their job. They bought the shirt when it was shitty. They bought the stuff when they were unsure, or you were unsure about the company. Now that you're sure about the company, you got to go out there and double down and get these new people and these new clients and build these relationships.
Yeah. No, and you nailed it. It's like your friends and family are seed money. They're the investors before there's the product. And then there's early adopters.
Yeah.
People that find it and say, finally, something that identifies me. Like, there's no t-shirt that gets more eyes turned than my Dennis Rodman t-shirt that you made.
Let's go, yeah.
It's like, that is one of the hottest things I've ever put on. It's because of the way that makes people feel.
Yeah.
And so being in that category for early adopter, when you get the heads to turn for the shirt that you bought and you know why and who it came from, that starts to give you a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, as we kind of talked about, like, everyone's looking for that, whether you're a young kid that's picking out a t-shirt or a kid that says, like, this brand gets me, so it's almost all of what I wear.
Yeah.
And the first time that you see it on a stranger, I love the way that you spoke about that. Like, tell that story a little bit.
It's a different feeling, man. You know, so we were talking, you know, about like growing the brand and stuff like that. And like I said, that there's a moment like that. It's definitely a milestone. You know, it's great when you see your friends wearing the stuff out and all that stuff. But when you see a complete stranger wearing it, it was a moment in my life that I'll never forget. Right. There was a couple of them, but the first time was in Tampa, and I had my clothes down at this place called Ocean Avenue. I think it was Ocean Drive. And they were just like they weren't the best. It actually wasn't even native brand. It was a clothing brand I had called Eccentric Clothing, and they were overpriced. They were like $36 a t-shirt. They were just American Apparel t-shirts, but like one or two colored designs on them, but the colors were dope. They were basically like Kanye style colors back in 2012, I think. You know, like the browns with the baby blues and but like after we got all these shirts, I just told all my buddies that were in Tampa, I'm like, hey, like, come to the house. I've got pizza and beer. We need to cut up shirts. So we're in here cutting all these shirts up. I showed everybody how to distress everything. So we just got drunk, cut all the shirts up, and then dropped them off to Ocean Drive, Ocean Avenue, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, but the next day, I'm walking down the street and I see somebody wearing one of the shirts. And instead of, you know, you want to be like, dude, fuck yeah. But I was like, dude, that shirt's dope. Where'd you get it? He was like, oh, I just picked it up at Ocean Avenue, man. It was like, he said, they got 3 left. I was like, fuck yeah.
Dude, that's hype.
Yeah. So like that first interaction, it was like my brain wanted to scream, you know what I mean? But instead it went to like marketing mode.
Yes.
Where it was like, bro, we're like, let's boost this guy's ego instead of just being like, oh, you bought my shit. Like,
instead of doing it for my ego, let's do it for his ego.
100%, dude.
Yeah. And what a great way to like pivot this idea to when you are working a brand up and you've gone from the seed money of your friends to the early adopters, the first fucking customers, the people that made a difference there, like controlling the narrative to the next body of buyers and people that want to be a part of this, like they'll never be as fired up as that first 10%. So what you need to do is make sure that they are the fire that keeps this going. Like finally you can pass the torch and just be part of the ignition that just puts fuel on this thing.
Yeah.
And there's something about staying in the public eye and being unrelenting. Like the mad scientist logo, like I've lost an eye, I've lost an ear, but I've never lost my
focus. Yeah.
You nailed it in that. And people being reminded of that, like even with the change of the levy or the amount of times that the brick and mortar has had to move, controlling the output of how are you going to see me is how I've told you to see me, as
Right.
someone that's never going to quit. And it's always the upside of this curve. Like I take my L's in private. I tell my L's as stories because they're funny at times.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I want you to know every little win that's on the table. Because if you're over here hoping that I can stack the deck, I want to give you reasons to believe in that next chapter.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And as this next chapter does come about in 2026, is going to be full of these little wins. Like, what is the first thing that Native's going to roll out?
So a little quick backstory. You know, we were at the levee for 6 years, right? You know, we've done well. 3 out of the 6 years we were voted best clothing store in Cincinnati. So, and we had 3 different locations on the property as well. So I started out just as a 28-day pop-up shop where the levee had Santa in, and you know all the stores were vacant, and they didn't want the levee looking empty. So they brought in 12 companies just to fill these vacant spots for 28 days. And like my mindset was, be so good they can't ignore you, right? Move everything in. Move the podcast in. I've got a 6-foot graffiti can that's over 300 pounds that I created. I had my buddy Jubal drag that thing down here. And so I set the store up to look like a store, not a pop-up shop. So then they gave me the keys to an outside store in 2020 while they were rehabbing everything in the gallery. So I set everything up there. Like, it happened right before the pandemic, so we never got to open the store right away. But I pivoted. I'm in the clothing industry, and a lot of the companies like Bella Canvas, they stopped producing black t-shirts, white t-shirts, because they started using that material to create the masks that people were buying.
No way.
So it was like the cost of tees was going up. I wasn't able to sell them because I wasn't able to open the store. So I literally took, I started buying masks, and I put them on the website for $3.75. And me and my wife drove around and dropped them off on people's doorsteps. So it was like if you bought the mask within like 30 miles of the levee, like, we were literally driving around, had the masks in plastic bags, envelopes, and then we were just dropping them off on people's doorsteps. It was like we had to pivot, right?
Yeah.
So then we finally get to open up our store inside, which the Levee did a great job helping me build it out. They did everything I asked for, the podcast in the front window. And we were there for 4 years. So, but the Levee is a tricky bitch, man. It's such a beautiful property. Like, even 11 o'clock at night, you're walking around, the fire pit's going, the jumbotrons are on. But for some reason, there's like this stigma of like Newport or something. So it's like the locals don't come down. It's all out of towners. So when you were talking about building the brand, I stocked the store with OSU, Indiana, Louisville, Chicago, UK. Like, I stocked it with those things because it was a weekend spot for like daycationers. So they would come to the Levee, and so I was growing the brand in Louisville while being at the Levee, because we would sell 3 or 4 Louisville hats a week, and they would go right back to Louisville. But But looking at the writing on the wall, like, a lot of people were upset that I closed the store. But I've got a mentor, just like everybody does, right? Do you know who Johnny Cupcakes is?
I feel like you've told me about Johnny Cupcakes, but I'm familiar.
So he's he's a serial clothing designer. Like, this dude's insane. Like, he's me. But light years ahead. Like, this dude is so much better than what I've ever done. But I met him like 20 years ago, and I got a chance to talk to him and pick his brain, and he did the same thing that I was telling you. He was giving me the recipes to Coca-Cola. He wasn't gatekeeping like some people. And so, we got to talking, and, he was like, I started this thing out of my house. And then started getting, it was his parents' house. And then he started getting emails about like people that were allergic to cats. And he was like, my parents had cats. So even though the shit looked clean, like, people were still allergic to it. So he moved from his parents' house to like a storage unit. But he turned the storage unit into a store. So he diamonded the floor, black and white. He put mirrors and angles on the walls. Set up a little checkout counter in the very back, and he would drive people down to the storage unit when they wanted to try to buy something. And so he's like, he was like, look, dude, it was like an 8x15 or 10x15. It was super small, but the diamonds made it feel longer. The mirrors on the walls made it feel wider. After everything was going on with the Levee, like, we've been struggling for a while down there. Like, it's dead Monday through Friday. Like, even Friday nights, like it doesn't hit. So, and then Saturdays is when everyone comes out to shop. But, we're losing 5 days a week just to try to recoup on the 6th. So it's like, even though I got this beautiful store, it's like I feel like I'm in a sinking ship. You know what I mean? So I reach out to Johnny, and because he closed his store down in August of last year.
And where's he based out of?
Boston.
Gotcha.
And his store is incredible. It's Johnny Cupcakes. It looks like a bakery, it smells like a bakery, but they sell just fresh clothes. So he closed his store down, and so I reached out and I was like, bro, like I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. Like, you know, I don't want to close the store down, but it's drowning me, right? Like we built this badass store, and I just don't know what to do. He's like, dude, close the fucking store. He's like, you built something, you built a national brand, but you're expecting everybody to come to Newport, Kentucky to buy it, right? And he's like, you know, don't forget, dude, you're the motherfucker that built those 4 walls. He's like, and you can do it again. You can do it again and again and again if you want to. He's like, but if you've got a national brand, you can't expect people to travel to Kentucky to pick it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he did the same thing. He's in Boston, and he's well more well known than Native is, right? But for him to shut his store down, it's like it's a part of your reputation, right? It's like people, that's how people know you, is like this cool store.
Yeah.
But the retail shift is changing, bro. Like I was arrogant enough to think that I can reinvent the wheel. Right. So like what we did was we created the very first world's interactive retail store. Like no one's ever heard of it before. You know, the more you look, the more you find. There's, you know, if you go to pick up the Super Nintendo controller that was over in the corner, and if you try to play one of the games, like the 7-Up door will pop open. You know what I mean? Like there was little hidden things inside the store. If you're in the lab, if you look in the drawers, there was the files for the Majestic 12, like the actual paperwork for it. There was the schematics for Bob Lazar's sport model UFO. Like it was all there for people to find, right? And like we just kept everything hidden. There was a red phone on the desk of the mad scientist lab. If you pick it up, Nancy Drew goes, "Oh, so you are, you know, you are a." I can't remember what she says, but yeah. It's like, you know, it's just like a whole Nancy Drew thing, and then you can leave a message for the mad scientist on your experience. So, yeah. Like, we built this interactive retail store that, like, we thought was as cool as can be.
Within doing something like that, like the store was unbelievably unique. Like for me personally, Native on the Levee 2.0 was my favorite of the outdoor store.
Oh yeah.
But at all points in time, like you walk in and there's experience to be had with the product, and not only is it experience, it's you. All these things are impulses of the mind, where you've pulled them out of being just a thought into being something that is real and tangible and visceral at that point. But how much time gets dedicated to each of these ideas? Because some people feel like a fucking maniac for pursuing something like that. How do I get Nancy Drew on the phone? You know, how do I make the 7-Up door slide without it being, you know, insurmountably expensive and just like, how does one pull these ideas out and make them real as fast as you do?
YouTube University, man.
Okay, cool. Just being a savage at that.
But you know what's crazy, dude? So Nancy Drew is a fan of Native. Her real name's Lonnie Manella, and she's a voice actress out of California, maybe Arizona. But she's incredible, dude. Like she's done so many different voiceovers, and you know the movie Smile. Have you seen it?
I have not. It's a horror movie, right?
A horror movie.
I can't do horror movies,
and there's this demonic growl like that comes out of it. It's a demon, right? But it's this little tiny petite blonde lady named Lonnie Manella, dude, who plays Nancy Drew. Like she's the one that has this deep demonic like growl in that. She's incredible, bro.
Dude, that's awesome. She just emailed her one day like, "Hey, I need you to record me a little something."
Yeah, no, we talk pretty often. She always tells me happy birthday, and
that's awesome.
And every time something's going, she's a big like pet lover, so she's always commenting on stuff about Barkley and stuff like that. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. So and then your question when it comes to like the ideas, right? Like, this is a funny one. So, like the 7-Up door, right? No schematics. There's no like this is how you build it, right? It was the motor is actually a motor for a sliding glass door, so something that doesn't have any weight, that already has the track, so it's easy to slide. And the motor just sits in the corner and just pulls basically teeth. You know what I mean? Like a clog wheel, just pull it over, and then it'll just push it back away. So when we got the stimulus check, that $1,400 stimulus check, I was like, all right, I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit on this, because this could be really cool. So I paid $800 for the motor. I paid $250 for the 7-Up machine. And then I gave my buddy some money. We had to pick the machine up from Dayton, Ohio. So brought it down to the levee. We had to rip it apart because the machine was like over 2,000 pounds. So we needed just the front door of it. And that thing was still 200 pounds. So I was able to put that together, and like it's all meticulous, bro, because it's got to be, it's got to be floating from the ground, but you can't be able to see the light. It's got to be right above the door threshold, but then like I had to use a barn door to hold that 200-pound weight. And then I had to take the motor and basically reverse it. I had to put the motor on the door and then put the teeth on the wall. So it was basically pushing and pulling the wall.
How many times in a process like this do you think it's not going to work?
Oh, I had full confidence, bro. I mean, I already spent like over $1,000. Like it was going to work one way or another, right?
Is that how you feel about all these projects?
All of them.
So is that a learned trait, or is that just a disposition of your mind?
You know what? I feel like as an artist, dude, like they say like art's never finished, it's only abandoned, right? Like there's always things you can come back to, even on the Mona Lisa, right? Like you spent 6 hours on the eyes, but they can go back in and they can do a little bit more work to it to make it a little bit better than what it needs to be. But at some point the artist has to step back and say this is good. But when it comes to that 7-Up door, once I finally got it working, right? I got it working. I had a smoke machine attached to it, so when it opened up, fog would billow into the room. But there was one missing element, and it was like I really wanted that Zelda sound, when you throw the bomb against the wall and it goes doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, to let you know that you found a hidden room.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, I was trying to figure out how to do it, bro. It's like not like continuously. It's like it pops up in my brain, and then I'll Google it or I'll try to figure it out. And it's like I can't do it. And then one Halloween, I was trick or treating with Aslan, and one of those little machines, like you walk up to it, the motion sensor, he pops up and tries to scare you. Popped in my head. I was like, holy shit, dude. I bet I can just buy one of those and just put a new MP3 in. So I found one on Amazon for under $20, bought it, and you could literally just download whatever you want to. So I hopped on one of those websites that has all the old classic sounds, downloaded that Zelda sound, and just attached it to the side of the 7-Up machine. And 2 years of trying to think about it, and it was less than $20 to get it working. And it was like the cherry on top, bro. Like when you walk in the room, like hearing that sound, like as you're walking in, just hits that chord, that nostalgia chord, bro.
Yeah, and the first time you walk through that door, I'm sure it's euphoric that it all works. When does it grow casual to you, or did it always stay exciting that you could figure this out?
It's always exciting, yeah, because like we're always reinventing the store. We're always looking at different things to add, and when I'm on vacation or where I'm somewhere, like the whole back wall lit up like with those LEDs. I was in Las Vegas at Meow Wolf, and I was at a restaurant, and they had mushrooms that were like iridescently changing on the wall, and I'm like, how the fuck is that happening?
Yeah.
And so I found the projector. I took my phone. I zoomed in on it, so I was able to find like the name of the projector. Googled it up, started YouTubing it to figure out like this is a product I wanted to buy. Bought it, loved it, and just taking little things that you've seen around the country and just making it your own. And our store was very like, I called it futuristic vintage, right? Because it was like, or futuristic nostalgia, because it was like everything that I liked as a kid, but now it was geared towards Cincinnati. Like whether it's actually this shirt that I'm wearing right now is one of the 90s Bugs shirts. So yeah,
Fly as fuck.
so Jordan and Bugs, let's go.
Dude, killer.
Yeah.
Well, in so many of these things, like, I always tell my friends in the local music scene this, and it's hard to understand why it is, but, like, you're not going to go anywhere till your hometown loves you, but your hometown will not love you first. There's something about folks
Crazy.
from Louisville that walk in and they see the store for the first time, and then there's the hat for them. You know, there is catering to people outside of your home. Like, you get the seed money from the friends and family. Then you find the early adopters. And it turns out the early adopters tend to be from much farther out. It's like some of the best fans in my life I met in Boston.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish I could find those in northern Kentucky. I wish they were closer and they could be at more shows. But that's just not how it works.
That's crazy.
And what's it like on your end to start to see the orders coming in for the across the country, the international, the things like that, and starting to expand? What can I do in a Northern Kentucky store versus what is the international market really going to look like for this?
Right. And that's the thing, man. That's so, you know, what we were talking about, like, you know, I've got to switch gears, right? You know, the store was incredible. It was like heartbreaking to close it, but it's a relief to close it. You know what I mean? Like, I 100% I could rebuild that if and when. You know, we've got malls that the second that I announced that we're closing, I was getting reached out by Florence, by Columbus, Dayton, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls?
Yeah,
Cleveland?
Yeah.
Dude, you ever gone to that music venue?
Sure have, yeah.
It is the better river band, 100%. The angle's right.
It was incredible,
There's something
dude.
about an outdoor amphitheater where it's like, dude, there's
trees.
Yes.
They had trees, bro. It like that.
One way in, one way out, too. It's kind of ominous on the way out. You leave a concert, you're a little banged up. You're like, so how long is it going to take us to get out of here? 2 hours and 45 fucking minutes, you know?
Yeah. And it was all muddy, too, when we went, it was a country singer. It was an Aslan wanted to go see him.
Yeah, I saw Foo Fighters there, and it was
hell yeah.
unbelievable. Dude, that parking lot's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Dude.
So, but with you know, with 2026, like now that, you know, we shut the store down, I see a huge pivot in where retail's going. There's this thing called Whatnot. Have you seen Whatnot?
No.
So Whatnot's an app that you can download that's live shopping. So, you know, right now, like, a lot of people are just doing it in their basement, a little setup like this, selling baseball cards. They're selling gold, shoes, jewelry, like basically like anything. They're even selling goldfish, bro. Like, I don't know how they're shipping them, but they're selling goldfish. So, but it's like a live auction. So basically, you're just sitting in front of the camera, and which I just popped in my head. That would be a slick move to try to do, because if you can hop on Whatnot, play some music, and then slang some merch in the background,
Yeah.
that's a move, bro.
Well, I've talked to Freakbase about this because he's such a good TikTok influencer. He's like, dude, you got to be really careful on TikTok.
I just talked to Freakbase. Like,
Dude, he's my dude.
that's incredible.
Do you know
bro.
Chris?
No.
Dude, okay, we're going to make this happen because that dude needs some of your stuff in his line. It's the shit. So Freak is one of the nicest dudes, but, like, he'll have these huge live streams where there's, you know, a couple thousand people watching. I mean, he's one of the top 100 creators on TikTok. And if he flashes a pedal, immediately they say your TikTok shop. So trying to keep these two brands from not crossing is really tough on that platform. But there is, like, the multimedia kind of thing, like very similar to what you do in the store. It's not the product, it's the experience and then the product that notifies you of where you've been and what you've done in that way. So you're spot on in that.
Yeah, let me show you what Whatnot looks like, because this is so, like, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Is that Gary V?
Yeah, Gary
Okay,
V.
cool.
So
I'll never recognize that last name, dude. Vanderchuck?
Vaynerchuk. Yeah.
Vaynerchuk? That sounds like a pro wrestler. That's some WWF. Gary Vaynerchuk. He comes out, he's wearing the full, like, leather mask.
Yeah, bro. So let me show you real quick what Whatnot looks like. So you can just type in anything. Like, I'm typing in shoes right now, and there's probably thousands of people that are selling shoes. But so if you go to this guy right here, he's got
Is that just a still screen for right now? Oh, awaiting next item.
there you go. So it should be so like they do live auctions. So they'll pull up a shoe and it'll be
Word.
like 15 or 30 seconds, and
Yeah.
then they're just live bidding, and then it's sold. They'll move on to a next item.
And what would you say? What's the real difference between that and the TikTok shop or the new integrations for Instagram and things like that?
They're all chasing what Whatnot's doing. So Whatnot's been doing this for a while. It's been huge in China. They've been like, it's like $11 billion company in China. So they're all jumping onto this live streaming now, live social shopping, and that's the thing is right now, like I said, it's a lot of people that are in their basement slinging shoes, clothes, going down to like the Goodwill and picking up vintage stuff and then repurposing it there.
Yeah. So it's like Poshmark and Depop has now found a QVC kind of platform.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but for a clothing brand to hop in there and be a professional brand and being able to gain followers that way, like that's one of the things that we were doing in the store. So we were dead Monday through Friday, so we started going live on Whatnot and just selling our merch there, and it made more sense because we were having people from New York buy the New York hats. We were having people from Arizona buy the Arizona hats. So it was making sense to do it. Plus, we were making money when the store was dead. So it's like, all right, if we can do this, like in 2026, like I need to get back to being creative, right? Like that's my purpose in life, is being an artist. And for a while, for like the last 6 months of the store, like I was stepping over dollars to pick up quarters just because I was just trying to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's just cut the ties with that, and let's get back to having fun and like the reason why I was doing this in the first place.
Yeah.
So 2026, I've labeled it pop sculpture because I want to get back to being creative, and that's why I've created things like these here.
Yeah. So I heard a little bit about these before you walked out with them. So tell me how this.
Yeah.
It's wild in person. So how does it open? Like how does it?
It's got little magnets right there. There's a zipper here. Let's see.
And does it go full 3-dimensional or does it stay flush like this?
So now it goes full 3-dimensional. You can put your paperwork in there. You've got a little spot here.
So it's the perfect laptop bag that has like a classic.
Yeah. So it's got the back here, and then you can see like how much room it actually has. Right.
That's a trip.
So.
How long did it take you to come out with this?
So I made one like probably longer than 3 years ago. And like I had 2 laptops in it that I had forever, and then finally the strap broke on it, and so I just hung it on the wall in the store, and I had so many people that kept asking me like, "Yo, can I buy that? Can I buy that?" And every time I went to try to go like place an order, it was like, we're creating these bags, right? So it's not like it's not something that they can just ship to you right away. Like these bags were made for us. So it was like a 3 or 4 month process. So I was always trying to like time it like in the beginning of school so the kids can have the backpacks for school time. But, I just got to the point where I was like, dude, just go ahead and pull the trigger on them. Like these things are incredible. And like, I'm trying to get back to being an artist, right? So like, if I can start creating like wearable pieces of art, like that's the move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How often do you make a product like that and just try it on yourself? Like how often does it go through a trial period of 2 years with 2 laptops in it until the strap breaks, and then it's like, okay, now it's just an art piece?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell right away if it's going to click or not. Like I'm not trying to brag, but it's like I'm sure you can attest to it with the Rodman shirt. Like I've worn a lot of clothes in my day, bro. But like the hats, like some of the merch that I put out, like people get asked like, where'd you get that? And it's like that's such a rarity anymore for people to see like where'd you get that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The MTV hats also get that, the MTV hat always turned heads, and everyone always loved the denim aesthetic, Yeah. There's so many things that you've done that just have like I can't place the how or the what. Just tell me where, Right. Well, it's all that nostalgia factor, bro. You know what I mean? It's like seeing something and it's just like being like, it would look better if it was in denim, you know what I mean? Or if this was dyed, or if this was the cotton candy color. Like I almost didn't go with this colorway, and by far the cotton candy one's been the one that's selling the quickest. Yeah. How much does Flip for?
So the bags are 65 and the purses are 55.
Banging.
But we've got them on the website right now for $40.
Amazing. And I'll make sure we plug that underneath.
Yeah, and I brought the 3 bags so you can choose which one you wanted, man. I wanted to give one to you.
Dude, you're the best.
And then this is for the wifey, bro.
Dude, banging. That is the perfect Bengals gear too. It's like the color scheme of that, the beigeish tone of the white.
It's the shit, dude. All right, so you've got the, I call this the Betty, right? And it's like the perfect name, bro. It's got that nostalgia, that cartoon style.
Yeah.
And it comes with a chain as well.
Stop.
So like, Kaylin likes holding it just like this.
Yes.
She just likes that little clasp right there.
How many times do you design something for her or have her trial something?
Oh, all the time, bro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's to the point where she's like, stop. Like
baby, I'm topped out. You know, like
I've got no room for t-shirts anymore.
Stop it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, there is something to be said about like how many times can you try an idea where it's like it's got to move to somebody else. That's why I've been loving like the one-off upcycle stuff because I'll never get it back again. I don't need to worry about it again. You know, it's like they flip well. What's like the big do's and don'ts in your mind for this next chapter? Like after closing the store, like what really changes for the way that the Native brand operates?
So I'm definitely focusing on the live shopping in 2026, right? I think that's, I want to be on the forefront of that. Like, you know, the fact that you didn't know what Whatnot is, it just shows me that I feel like I'm in the right direction because Whatnot's going to be within 12 months, you're going to see grandma walking around the house, just pointing like that phone would sell for $30 or $40 on Whatnot easy, bro.
Yeah.
Which is like one of those things where it's like, you know, it's people's nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just being able to.
Well, I think the other thing is people's curation. You know, being the kind of person that can walk through a store and say, this is irreplicable and this is passable. You know, like when I'm doing these things, like I was telling you about grabbing these bags of T-shirts and whatnot and doing all these different upcycles. And it's like, well, the Gildans probably wasn't the right call, you know, but not many people know that on the way in.
Right.
And watching your inventory is such a hard part of this game. What's a repeatable success and what is going to be a one-off spark in the moment, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when it comes to those Gildan shirts, though, like there's ways to definitely make those, you know, make those valuable still. Distressing them, you know, like I said, when it comes to Gildans, they're always they shrink up a little.
Yeah.
So I would take those shirts and gear them towards women, right? You know, maybe just cut off 2 to 3 inches off the bottom of them and make them crop tops.
Mm. And one thing I went to see, I opened for Wheatus a couple weeks ago, which I didn't realize how much of a punk band Wheatus was. Like I know Teenage Dirtbag, that's about it. The rest of the show was pretty heavy, you know. And the middle act was like a great, like they were like a pop punk band that was also kind of ska. They had a killer brass section. It was fucking awesome. But the singer of Wheatus, I can't remember. I think his name's Brendan. He comes out wearing a T-shirt with one of his bandmates on it. It's like the worst possible picture of his bandmates. Like, I would love to take that box and just do like the worst hi-fi pictures of me and Johnny Disco and the horn players and just these weird one-offs where it's like, dude, I wouldn't even post this picture, but I would print the fuck out of that, you know? It's like a trombone player emptying his spit valve or something like that.
Dude, we can easily do that. That'd be incredible.
It could be quite the aesthetic.
Yeah.
So as Depop starts to be the move, is there a schedule of live stream that you're going to do?
Yeah. We're going to focus like doing the live social shopping like Monday through Thursday or Monday through Wednesday and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're going to be piggybacking off of Tuba Baking Company. They're our next door neighbors.
Nice.
So yeah, so they've got a little beer garden out there. So we'll be piggybacking off of their hours. So the store will be open to come shop for that. But
that's awesome.
But the main focus is online, man. I really, you know, I'm going to pull back on creating as many T-shirts as I do. You know, when we had the store at the Levee, there was over 300 different logos that we were just filtering out that I've just created. You know, but now that I'm in this 500 square foot store, it's a lot smaller footprint. But, you know, being able to, since I print everything on my own anyways, I don't need 300 shirts in stock. You know what I mean? I can be a lot less than that. But I've got the idea of like going full force with the hats. The hats are it's the one thing that I've created that is completely done. Like we were talking earlier, like, you know, art's it's only abandoned. It's never finished. Like this hat's finished. Everything else that I've done is all been abandoned. Yeah. It's all been just abandoned at some point.
What happens to the stock of everything that was in the store? Does that now go on the website? Is that the best place for people to get the Joey B t-shirts and things like that?
Yeah. All the nativebrand.com has all the merch. I just uploaded like the exact counts of all the hats. So, you know, that I'm not overselling any of the hats. So everything's on the website now. Because once the hats are gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's only 50 of each colorway. And then we're not redoing that colorway. So then we'll move on to, you know, a different version of that city or a different city altogether.
There's something really special about knowing when to let something be limited, let something reach a point, and then saying it's not available anymore. Because it's like when you have the original copy of a painting and then you sell the 700 prints. It's like at 701, does it lose value? You know, when you start to violate that trust between you and that person, that this is going to be the end of that thing. What's it been like to try to figure out that sweet spot, whether it's the hats or it's going to be these tees or it's going to be this line?
It's, you know, I kind of play it all by ear. Like with the pop sculpture thing, like all these bags are limited to 50. I feel like 50 is a good number. I wish I can get to like 250 of each.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like 50 is so limited that it doesn't stretch across like the nation like it should. That's one per fucking state, right? So that's not many, but that also keeps that like limited. I need it. You know, if I don't get it now, I'm never gonna have it. And that happens with so many of our items, bro. Like I'll post 100 times like the white hat, like the white out hat. There's 15 left, like, you know, come down and get it. And then once they're finally gone, like, then I'll be getting the messages. Hey, you know, do you have that white hat? It's like, bro, like that thing's been gone for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know,
and nothing
what I mean?
feels better than saying no to that person that way that, you know, like there's something about like, hey, I love you. Thanks for being here. Should have jumped. You should have jumped.
Yeah.
You know, it's gone.
Yeah, but the limited things are great, man. Like I'm also creating something like the Pop Sculpture 2026. I'm doing these Bubblicious. It's a almost a 4-foot wide Bubblicious pack of bubble gum. So it's like 9.5 inches tall, 38 inches wide. And it's going to be art that you can put right on the wall, right? But it's Bubblicious, native brand, like one big ass piece of gum. And what I'm doing with that is I'm doing 12 of them because a pack of Bubblicious bubblegum was like a 12 pack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So same thing, I'm doing like the high C, like the Ecto Coolers. I'm making some Ecto Coolers to put on the wall. And those are going to be in like a batch of 6, right? Because that's what they came in.
Yeah.
So if you want one of the 6... then, you know, that's your chance.
What's your email look like for all these, like, you reach out to a company to send, like, can you do this or do I have to do this myself? Like, are you getting 50 emails back? Like, how are you imagining this happens? Like, a custom cooler to a gigantic piece of bubble gum. Like, what's it like just to manage these projects?
It's just juggling, bro.
Okay.
It's just juggling one at a time. And like, it's the going back to the abandoned thing again. It's like I started working on the Bubblicious packaging and I was off by 1 inch. So when I wrapped it, the last panel was an inch off. So it's like, all right, back to the drawing board. And like the problem was like I already printed like 24 of these. So I've got like 12 of the watermelon and then I've got 12 of the strawberry splash. And it's all wasted, right? I've got to go back to the drawing board just to stretch it 1 inch. So because it was my fault. Like I measured the box, or I had the measurements for the box, but the measurements are for the inside. Rookie mistake, bro. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're saying when you get a box that's 38 by 8.5 by 8 or whatever. Like that's the outside. So whatever the thickness is of the cardboard, I skewed everything.
Yeah.
Fucked it all up for me.
So when you're looking at this next chapter, I think it's important to have goals, but it's hard to have particular goals when the creativity is so unlimited with the amount of things you want to do. Like, what would you say is the biggest goal of 2026 in this year of reinvention for the online institution of Native Brand?
So the goal is to get the hats out there. You know what I mean? Like I said, the hats are synonymous across the board. It doesn't matter if it's California, Chicago, or Florida. All the hats are similar, so you know what the brand is, right? It's not like a completely different logo on the front with just a little side tag.
Yeah.
So 2026, I'm really looking at trying to open up hat vending machines. I think that's the goal. There's only one of them in the United States, and it's at like the Bull Riders Stadium in Nevada. So like nobody's seeing this machine anyways. But if I can get the machine, drop it in airports or next to stadiums, it's low cost, low risk, high reward. If it doesn't work, we move it to a different city, different state.
Yeah.
If it fails completely, we can sell the machine, because the way that the machine's being built, it's got a 32-inch LED screen in the middle, and then it's got 40 cubby holes on this side, 40 on this side, and it's all like plexiglass. So you can see every single cubby hole, you can see what's in there, and it's all lit up by LEDs. So, when it comes to me, like I'd like to physically see the product. But instead of trying to like if you're at a grocery store or the mall, and you got a LED screen that the hat pops up, that hat could be modified and the one coming out could look completely different. But being able to see it, like visually see it and be like, this is the one I want, 005. So
yeah.
Being able to do that, I think is going to be the major move for the brand. We've sold well over 20,000 native hats so far.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, bro. So like we're at the point where it's like, they're out there, they're everywhere. Like I need to start putting the product in people's faces instead of for them having to. It's crazy to think that we've sold that many, like either out of my backpack on the website or like handshakes at the levee.
Yeah. How does one patent that type of product? When you start getting to that kind of number, that's when it starts to feel like dangerous to.
Yeah. So when I got picked up by Procter and Gamble, they helped me trademark the word native, and then they helped me trademark all area codes and apparel, which is wild because I even got into some like a tiff with this. What was the company? Shop Local Kentucky, right? It's a company based out of Lexington, I think. This was back when I think the pandemic was going on. I reached out to him and said, "Hey, do you want to carry some of my native stuff? It's all area code based. I got picked up by Procter and Gamble, blah blah blah." And they were like, "No, sorry, we don't carry outside companies." But even though their name is Shop Local Kentucky, that was like literally their name. So then a couple months later, they started putting out area code hats, and they've got 400,000 followers on Facebook. I've got like fucking 5.
Yeah.
And so I wrote them. I'm like, yo, like this is pretty fucking shitty, dude. You know what I mean? Like you guys deny me, and then you turn around and start coming out with area code based merch. And so like I posted about it. But then like they commented, and then like all 400,000 of their people are like, you can't trademark area codes, you idiot, blah blah. And I'm like
I did.
yeah. And it wasn't easy. We had to create a pattern. So I had to trademark. We trademarked Cincinnati, we trademarked Chicago, and we trademarked LA. So once you trademark 3 of them, we've created a pattern. So now you've got at least a little bit of a bread trail.
Because to be ironclad with that takes Procter & Gamble level money across the board. And it's like, this is where most small companies do get screwed. It's the second person to get to a good idea that's able to run with it, because they can skip all the R&D, they can skip all the L's, they can jump straight to.
Second mouse gets the cheese, bro.
100%. So it's like you gotta guard that thing, and also you gotta tell them like there's 20,000 across the country with my name and this logo on it. So it's like, choose to fuck with me, and I will make sure that there's a lot of noise about this, because there's a lot of happy customers out there.
Oh yeah, man, and damn, See, I just lost my train of thought again, bro.
You're fine,
It's that pot.
It's good for you. Don't let
It is.
It is. Well, brother, I really appreciate you making the time for this today. It has been a long time coming. So do me a favor. Run down all the things that we got to promote on the way out, from the shop to the podcast and all the places that they need to find Jay Banks.
Yeah. All right. So so right now, if you guys, let's see. Let's start with Whatnot, because Whatnot is where I want everybody to start paying attention, right? It doesn't have to be with me, but there's a QR code that I can post on the Native Brand page that'll give you like either 10 or 15 bucks off your first purchase on Whatnot, which is great. I think that's something that's going to be huge, bro. It's something where, you know, if you've got 15 people on your Whatnot stream, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if I had 15 people in my store at the levee, I wouldn't be closed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a huge shift there, and just being able to hop on Whatnot, have fun, talk, and interact. There's a whole chat going on. It's a real community based around like the things that you love, which is incredible. So the Whatnot is where we're going to be going hard.
The Native Brand on Whatnot.
Yeah. The Native Brand, no spaces. And I did that Native Brand, no spaces before like hashtags were a thing, bro, because I didn't want anyone to get confused. I didn't want it to go anywhere else. And I figured if I just typed the Native Brand, no spaces, it was going to be the easiest way to find me.
Yeah.
One of my first clothing brands I was telling you was Eccentric Clothing. Disaster, because I spelled it, and it's still my email to this day, XSINTRYK. So that's Eccentric Clothing. Right. So like people, if they were looking at your shirt and they're like, dude, that's dope. Where'd you get it? It's like Eccentric Clothing. You're like, all right, cool. Like, nope, it's not ECC, you know?
Yeah. It's got to be spellable. It's got to be phonetic, you know, it's got to land.
Yeah, bro. And that was like the first big mistake. It was like, oh, all right. I see. I gotta fix some things here.
Is that where the Hypercolor Clothing is? Was it under that label?
No, Hypercolor is under the Native Brand.
Dude, that shit's still unbelievable.
It is, bro. Yeah. It is, and that's the thing, man. Like people don't understand, like you know that, like we've done some of the coolest shit on the planet. In 2026, I'm getting back to being creative and having fun and doing these things, right? Yeah. The Hypercolor clothes, dude. They were so popular in the 90s. You know, and I'm literally the last legal owner of Hypercolor. You know, last one to produce it, only store in the entire United States that even sells it.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so next tell them about the other socials, everything the Native Brand, no spaces, the podcast. Where is that best housed?
The podcast is going to be in Bellevue East. All right, I'm gonna tell you that because every time I say Dayton, Kentucky, people think Dayton, Ohio. Right. But Dayton, Kentucky is only 1 mile from the levee. So if you're leaving the parking garage, you just drive straight. We're right next to Tuba Baking Company, Galactic Fried Chicken, the Wayfair.
I've heard great things about Galactic.
Hometown. Dude, incredible. Like a lot of people don't know that dude was like a Michelin chef in New York City who ended up moving to Kentucky to start his own shit. Best chicken on the planet, bro. Best fried pickles. It's gluten-free, and they are crispier than anything you've ever had, dude.
All right, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So do you want to have a live audience for the podcast you're saying? Is that where you're pointing out, Bellevue East? Or where's it best for you to?
So it's going to be the way to watch it's going to be on all the social media channels.
Okay,
we'll have them on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I need to tap into TikTok, bro. I need to, like I've done some things on TikTok, but nothing has struck. You know what I mean? And
I'm gonna show you some stuff at the end of this. It's been really good for me.
Dope. Yeah. It's one of those things where and you know you hit the nail on the head, bro. When we were driving in here, you were comparing Instagram to the levee, and that was the perfect comparison because it's like Instagram was great, you know what I mean, and then all of a sudden it just starts like feels like it's just taking away from you.
There's no new love on there. It's right. Like I don't make content on there and grow. I meet people and grow on Insta. But on TikTok, I make friends on the platform from the things, and that grows to new friends. It's like everybody that's watching this show right now, I can almost guarantee is either like in my intimate circle of people, or they're friends that I made on TikTok. That it's like there's a family on there now. It's different, and I imagine that Whatnot, that's the name of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's like having the chat, having that stimulus of like we're in a room together. I don't get that on the other platforms. So.
No, bro, and that's how it is on Whatnot. Like I've got like some of the people that I've met on Whatnot. Like I talk more with, and they're promoting and resharing and commenting on every single thing that I'm putting out there. Right. I've never met this guy before. You know what I mean? But he sees from an outside perspective what we're doing and loves it. And, you know, the community is incredible, dude. And so, like, we've sold a ton of the bags out there on Whatnot. You know, and the neat thing is, like, I've already got a shop on there. So you can hop on there right now and purchase something. But when I go live, I can flash sale stuff.
Yes.
So the $65 bag, I can flash sale at $40 for 30 seconds and let as many people buy them as they want to. So
that's fly.
Yeah.
Well, brother, all your work since I met you has been undeniable, and the work that we've done together has been amazing for me, and I really appreciate your time in that. But it's such a great thing for me to get to sit down and just be reminded that, like, you're not just a great artist, you're a person that grinds like almost nobody else I know. You're the type of maniac that gets up in the morning and runs ideas until you have to put your head on a pillow. And the only reason the sound stops is because you're fucking exhausted.
Yep.
And I think we all aspire to reach that level of incessant need to do better, you know, and you got it, my man. So
I appreciate all the love, dude. You know, it's if you find something that you love to do, you'll never work, you know, and that's the thing. I was just talking to Jay Sal yesterday about that, dude. Just, you know, being able to look at Native as a second home, not a job. You know what I mean? It's just another building for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's another home. It's another place to have fun and be creative, dude. And so that's what we're trying to do. So, and also 2026, man. Like one of the reasons I'm happy about closing the store is I'm going to be able to get to work with people like you again, being able to be creative and actually take the time and like give you the time and design that you want and you're looking for, bro.
Well, we'll do a little Depop performance. God, Whatnot performance. God, I'm thinking of Depot Brewing. I was just playing out there. So we'll do a Whatnot performance. We'll go flip some stuff. We'll have a good time.
That'd be dope, bro.
Cool.
I don't think I've seen it yet, man. I've seen like just most recently it's selling fucking goldfish on there, which is crazy. But
we can flip goldfish. We can do this.
That'd be crazy, bro.
All right, friends. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow Jay, the Native brand, no spaces. Also, shout to Gracie. I love you, bestie. Peace, players.